They turned the dragons into Macho Man Randy Savage. And the other ones, of course, being like the Thomas the Train mods were pretty awesome. So that didn't work because we're loading stuff over and over again. Alright, so the problem is we were re-queuing over and over and over again and nothing was working. Yeah, I think the problem with like Skyrim mods was that everything just gets too damned complicated, so you have like 2 million mods. And you don't know which one is crashing your game. And Skyrim especially had super bad memory problems. It's like, yeah, you'd be like, oh, I want to go play the Dragonborn content. You'd be like, yeah, well, yeah, you can't because you have some other mod that's screwed up, and lots of time spent debugging exactly what the hell is going on there and doing that, which is fun in its own way. It's like, oh, I need to get all these mods to work together. What magical incantation makes these mods not go over the magical 1.9 gigabytes of memory allocated memory leak bug? Though I don't know, the ending to Fallout 4, I definitely killed everybody. That was my ending. I was like, you know who I'm gonna side with? I'm gonna side with the Brotherhood of Steel. I agree with Liberty Prime. Freedom is non-negotiable. Get fucked. You usually side with me? Yeah. Everybody else can just. Hey now. Alright, that appears to be working, so our music is getting faded out, everything else is getting faded out, and it's using our nice usual level load conditions for everything, which is pretty cool. I wasn't using the deferred level load that I should have been using. Alright, so mission loading into stage from UI level should fade music out, which it now does. Tuning of AI. If a stage has no rank, do not show it in the post mission screen tier list. Okay, so when we get to post mission, let me just pull this up. So let's see. So the pit has stuff. Yeah, it was definitely one of the first mods I installed for Skyrim. You can kill the children. Like, yeah, you know what? Some of these bastards gotta die. I can't, you know, the whole like, if you kill everybody who saw your crime, and it's like, ah, a child saw me do it. Sorry, buddy, but not sorry. Let's see. So this does not have a rank, right? It's got blank ranks. So if we win this mission, and we go to the post mission screen, it says stage 1, and it's got just blah on it. So we don't want to show stage 1 here, we just want to show seconds. So how is that actually put together? So it is the stage screen though, the post mission screen though. So let's go to post mission screen. So we have these post stage tiers. Stage completion dot tier, achieve tier, stage completion, post stage tier. For mission completion, stage completion, get int for tier. So it's post mission in the stage completion. So let me see, is this, where are we reporting this? So on stage over, we get current completion tier. Tier is this guy. So I pretty much need to modify the stage completions so the stage completions have something about the tier ranking if there was something that you actually achieved. So we need to actually edit our game objects to do this. It is called being professional. Alright, so I need to go to my game data. It's inside of objects. And it's also, we need to do our service objects. So, our game objects and game objects. So, stage completion has name and tier. And what we're going to want also is a head tier rankings. And it'll be a Boolean. So we'll do default of false. So let's generate it. Duplicate ID 1 and stage completion in game. Well, that is very true. That's a duplicate. Alright, so we got our stage rankings here. Check if a stage has a ranking tier. Okay, now we just need to go to our game data. So we need fill for stage, right? Stage. Fill for stage completion, I believe. Okay, so we'll save all this. And if we go to our JavaScript for the mission, the post mission screen, basically we can do if completion dot add tier rankings is false, then we just do continue. Right? Because it doesn't matter. So we'll still have it in the post mission tier for stats. Yeah, we'll still have it inside of the objectives lines. But we won't have it inside the rankings because the rankings didn't do anything. So what's the next thing after this? It's going to be WebKit UI scaling is wrong. I can take a look at that and see what I can do about it. We also have a login warning for single player missions. Then the tab menu is busted. Might actually be a short stream today. If I get everything done, I'm just going to be done. But I also have a documentation about how to create missions that is going to go up on the wiki. So that could be a thing. No, it's basically what I've got is a list of tasks to do, and then I've got a whole bunch of shit to do. Like I've got missions. I've got 90 missions to make for the next update, and I need to make those missions. So you know, like if I make 10 per day. Well, yeah, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 times 10, or 9, days. 10 per day or whatever. Let's just see. So if we've got 8 times 60 divided by 10, so 48 minutes per mission. So about an hour per mission or whatever, then, or less than an hour. Like if I did half hour per mission, I'd be able to get it done in the next like so many days, etc. And I kind of want to like finish everything, and then I want to start working on missions, because then what it'll do is it'll have a nice bookend, because these missions are probably going to be the mainstay missions for the next update. And after that, I really need to start working on abilities, and we need to start working on the story mission system and the single player game. And the single player game, has Adam gone over the design for the single player game? Because it's something that is pretty interesting in my mind. I don't know if Adam fully understands the single player design yet. I gave him some homework for some games to play, which would give him a much better idea of how it all is going to fit together. Basically, for as far as I know, but you wasn't there for the Monday early stream. Yeah, so I think like Adam's working on the story. We kind of broke up. I told him to go play this War of Mine, to get some of it. The parts that he didn't really understand, I think, because he hasn't played a game like that. But we're kind of breaking up the responsibility for some of that, where he is the creative owner of the whole thing. But for the actual game mechanics and stuff like that, I'm kind of taking over that design for the single player game. Mainly we're just trying to play to each other's experiences best. So he's going to be much more focused on art, story, world building, and theme, and I'm going to be much more focused on the actual game mechanics and how things hook together, because all that shit just gets super complicated, and it's just, he is much better at doing story and theme and all the content, and I'm better at making complex systems. That kind of goes with creative versus engineering. And game design is kind of a merging of creativity and gigantic spreadsheets, right? So it's like, a good example is the game Dwarf Fortress, where literally people have like spreadsheets and Excel documents and shit like that to just play the game, because it's best played as a spreadsheet than as the actual game. So, are you more focused on what is possible to do in relationship to size of levels? What features Spidey will be able to do? Will he be able to go in levels like, can he climb or crawl? Those are specific game things that we'll be doing. So, we're gonna be adding movement things that Bitey can do. Like one of the big things Adam really wants is being able to traverse water. So having like a pond or something, and if you're running fast enough, you can just run over the surface of it, and it looks really cool. Or if you're going slow, Bitey falls into the water. And we're not going to do like swimming or anything like that in terms of like going under the surface of the water and like swimming down and like finding shit under there. But we definitely might, we'd be doing stuff with water where he falls in and he's like all slow and has to swim across and shit like that. But we're basically thinking that the story mission is going to be kind of it's going to be an actual like self-contained story, and you're going to be able to lose like a lot. Like you'll be able to lose really easily. So it'll be we're thinking of breaking it up into like a certain number of days for the story, and that like the story of the game Dashkin will take like 50 actual in-game days. And on specific days, certain things always happen. Like on day 5, You know, the Wookiees show up to help you. I'm just gonna use completely fake shit just because I don't want to give away any story, so you'll have to excuse me for that. But like on day 5, if the Wookiees are supposed to show up and save you from the stormtroopers, then that's what's gonna happen. Yeah, so it's basically a certain number of days that there will always be things that happen. So like if on day 50, let's just say there's 50 days, if on day 50 like there's the final boss fight, and if you don't have everything done by then, you just like you get to the final boss fight and the final boss just fucking stomps you, like you're toast. Like uh and throughout the whole number of days you'll need to collect items to keep yourself alive. Like Bitey needs a certain amount of food to, be healthy. We need a certain number of, whatever widgets. Like if we're preventing corruption in the land, we need to have our corruption level. We keep it low, and that like makes the world easier. Uh, Things like that, and then like you can also unlock abilities. So if you need, having double jumps will really help you out, and if you haven't gone and done the thing that helps you with double jumps, then like you're totally screwed. Do you have any? How many hours it would take to complete the story mode if you have planned? So it's like ET. Yeah, that's pretty much kind of what I'm thinking about, Lucas. Is if you knew everything about the game and were super amazing and knew all the little things in and out and the places on the map, I think you'd be able to beat the game within an hour or something like that, from start to finish, and get everything that you need. Yeah, preventing corruption. Well, that's the other thing I was talking to Adam about, and we both very much agree a bad ending is, like there will be ways to be a total asshole to everybody and be, the last of the Dashkin. The story of the last of the Dashkin is he was an asshole and he was supposed to save everybody, but then he didn't because he's a jerk. And, you know, good job. But we're thinking like a certain number of an imperfect world is not nice. Not no one really. An imperfect world is boring, right? That's the message of some things is you need some adversity, otherwise who cares? So pretty much it would be you throughout the course of these certain number of days you will collect items, you will keep yourself alive, keep the world in a good state or not in a good state, and get to the end. And there will be certain checkpoints, of course, with bosses and different encounters which are difficult. And if you don't have, like a certain ability, it's going to be more difficult. And if you fail at stuff, it's going to have, you're going to lose. So if you get to day 10 and you get to go fight, the giant AT-AT, and Bitey doesn't have double jumps, so the AT-AT just like smashes you because you can't do the wall jumping segment very well. You just fucking lose, and it's like, and it'll just play the credits of, and then Bitey died, and everyone, the world crashed into the sun, and the end of all life. So we'll see. But it's meant to be very difficult, so as you replay the game, you'll figure out like, okay, this is where this item is that'll help me out. So like we want to break up the day into different things that you decide to do. So it's like, okay, in the morning of this day, I'm going to go over to this area in the grasslands, and I'm going to go collect some food, and I'm going to take that food and I'm going to give that to this baby Morg on day 2, and that baby Morg is going to help me out on day 15 in this one situation, and stuff like that. I've thought whether there might be some narration in between for story or no spoken words. Adam is putting together the story. There'll definitely be cutscenes. I think we'll do like motion comic style cutscenes for things, and telling story. And we'll see. Adam's got the creative control over that, so I don't really care how the story's proposed. That's Adam's baby, not mine. So he will do as he needs to. So let's double check that the stage completion doesn't show up in mission stuff. It would be nice to have an exploration mode where you wouldn't have to mess with the files to remove the time limit. Oh, well, that's kind of the thing is, it's kind of permadeath. You only have one file going at a time. So if you're just trying to explore, just play the game. It'll be easy to get to certain things, but you won't. It'll be easy to advance to a certain day or something and kind of explore what you're doing. But if you wanted to get everything, it's going to be difficult. So if you want to just kind of fuck around and see, like, well, what happens if I kick this fat sack off into the stream? What happens to, this day? You should be able to kind of, if you know what you're doing, you'd be like, all right, I need to go do all these things just to maintain to level 10, beat the boss that I know how to beat now, and then you can kind of figure it out. But there's not going to be like an exploration mode where you can just figure everything out with no consequences, because that would be difficult for us. All right, so the stage stuff's gone, so that's not going to show up. It's just going to say, boom, seconds. Next thing, WebKit scaling is wrong, slightly too wide. So we need black bars on the side, and then if we go into where is the scaling wrong that I can easily see? I think it was in a level, so why don't we jump into like the grasslands? That's kind of the point, is that it would be a more dense game that you can actually take quite a while to explore all the things and have a lot of stuff in the game that is more dense, where there would be a path to victory, and there will be difficult things and random events that happen. So you'll have like, oh man, I got a really good run because I was able to unlock double jump early because the random thing happened earlier than it usually does, and now I can actually go back and do the things. So it's not a relatively short game. I would imagine that a full playthrough is going to take you like 8 hours the first time to actually win, because you're going to lose many times getting to that. But somebody who knew all the things about it and plotted it out, kind of like Super Metroid, if you know everything, you can beat the game in an hour really easily. Like, you don't have to be super pro to beat Super Metroid in under an hour. You just need to know where everything is, and you can grab all the extra shit and still win. Yeah, things like that, where there will definitely be, kind of like in Chrono Trigger, if you go to the hunting grounds when it's raining, there's the little blue dude in the bottom right. In between there are no breathers? Can you pause it? Oh yeah, of course you can pause it. You can pause, you can save, you can, you'll come back and your guy is still on day 30 or something like that. It's not like you have to beat the whole thing in one sitting. We're not gonna do like some Dead Rising bullshit. Fucking hated that. That was actually the reason why I stopped playing Dead Rising, is they kept having those things where you couldn't like stop the game, and like, it was like, God, just let me fucking play sometimes. Alright, so the scaling is wrong. So yeah, our game screen is wrong in its scaling. So why is that? Because we've got these guys. I mean, it's basically everything that's looking wrong. But how come, like, this is correct? I need to have something on this main menu which actually makes this easier for me to see. Is it in... do I have something in here, maybe? No, that's always in the extents of the screen. So main menu, HTML, CSS, JS. Sorry, I'm playing Ghostbusters on it. Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of the idea. Is we'll do more things like that. All right. So if I take a look at the screens for the in-game screen, we've got the screen shield. Clock and score. All right. So it's this right and left sort of V-min sorts of things. All right. So that's putting it in the top left. All right. So I mean, I guess that's interesting that this page is set up properly, but other pages aren't. So it's something that's happening specifically with the in-game screen, where these guys are not set properly. So that's what the screen is. Alright, let me just see here. It looks like when we're in game, we're actually using a different, like, the camera is narrower when we're actually in the game. What? So it's not, it's set the camera in, this is interesting. Alright, so we've got two different things here. So this guy is, so in game, we are 1277 by 635, and in UI, we are 1407 by 635. So what is the calculation? So in game we're at aspect ratio of 2, and out of game we're at an aspect ratio of 2.2. So our aspect ratio is supposed to be locked to like 2, right? That's the thing. So our aspect ratio right now for the game is for the UI is 2.2, and the game it's 2. So let's go to our globals. So it's that our camera is wrong in our UI level. It's not supposed to have that wider shot. Yeah, so we have 2.2 on this camera in VP main menu. And when we go into the game, what the hell is this camera actor? Yeah, this camera has an aspect ratio of 2.0. So one thing we could do is we could change the aspect ratio to 2.2, but that would probably fuck up all of our UMG stuff, and I'd have to go change it to 2.2. So the question is, why in the... do we have 2.2 anywhere in our project? Our camera control data is set to max aspect ratio of 2.2 as 2.0. So this is where our problem actually lies. It's that this max aspect ratio needs to be see if it's actually used. This fan has saved your life? Yeah, well, very good. When it's just too hot where you are? That's why I live in a basement. I'm 6 feet under. Well, I won't always have this basement. It's looking like coming in about 6 months I'll be doing lots of different moving sorts of things. Let's see. So this should completely fuck up our in-game UI. So let's go take a look at it. Should merge everything lower, but I should be able to fix that by squishing out the... I should be able to change the in-game stuff to work better. Yeah, so my parents are going to be buying a second place, it looks like, down south because they don't like the northern winters where I am. As they're getting older. So those winters are a lot harder on them than they used to be. So what'll happen is they'll always have a house that they're not staying in. So somebody could stay in it, right? And it might as well be me. So I might be swapping back and forth between two different houses for a while. Because it'll be cheap as hell, comparatively. Which I'm already like living in a very, very cheap place in terms of that. But I'd basically be able to get the money out of the house that I have and just sell it. The neighbors actually look like they want to buy it. So, boom, just take all the money from the house and I'll be able to work on this game for longer and all that and spend more money on it in terms of, you know, hey, we might actually have enough money to pay for some other people to contract with us and crap. So, we'll see. Also, I'll be able to go down and visit some members of the family that I do not have very much relationship with, and those people like to do things like go ATVing in out in the country and go shoot and kill lots of animals. So I'll be able to do all that sort of thing. I'll be able to go murder God's little creatures. And that's pretty enjoyable. So I need to look at the in-level. Let's go boot up the grasslands. It's 66.2, almost at midnight, and it's completely dark. Oh yeah, that could be annoying, because it's like open all the windows and get a fan going, and it's still just like not enough. Okay, so that looks to have fixed the in-game issues for this stuff. But the mission UI is going to be busted, right? So if we go to our arena level and we say, I want to play mission 6. So that should be on the left, and it's not on the left. Same with these things. So what we're going to do is organizing frequent movings back and forth. Well, probably what I'll do is I'll just set up an office kind of in both locations. You know, there'll be an area where I can basically just like plug in all my machines and, you know, leave whatever's there. But pretty much I'll own the house while I'm there. So, and it would only be like every 6 months. So it's not a really big move. Cuz I don't really own a whole bunch of shit. So, it doesn't matter to me. Like I've got a couch and I've got like a bed and like some TVs and shit, and that's it. Everything else is old and not worth a whole hell of a lot. I mean, don't you have like an air conditioner, Lucas? Something like that? So let's go to our UI. Let's go to our screens. So if we go to our HUD, we want to do a 2.2. So the height, if we do 1080 times 2.2, it's alright, it should just be that the size boxes, instead of that, should be 2.2 for everything. So size box 2.2. No AC in Germany as well for what, 2 days in summer? Hey, those 2 days suck, right? I don't know. I've always had just like a little AC unit that I could just slap in the window if I needed it, right? So it's, you know, just like a window mounted one. You just like shove it in there and there you go. And it's like if you're pissed off enough about the heat to actually go like grab that AC unit and lift the heavy bastard into the window and turn it on, then it's hot enough for AC. Drive somewhere, the car has AC. It's like, what are you doing in your car? Like, I am surviving. Global warming. Oh no. All right, let's see the. If we go to our screen for this guy, our default width and default height, our target aspect ratio is still the same. Default width and height should be there. So I think this will put us in the right place on the screen still. So why don't we just run this? So yeah, okay, we got this guy in the left. That's working. and this is still the right spot on the screen. Awesome. So we've got our aspect ratio support for 2.2. So let's go ahead and take these things out that don't need to be here. And make sure that all of this actually still works. Your body shuts down over 30 degrees C. But I thought dragons don't care about the warmth. Back to Redwall. A studio acquired the rights to and did a Kickstarter and stuff, and now developing the first officially licensed Redwall game. It looks like it has potential. Yeah, I think I saw something about that. Yeah, they're doing a work in progress. They have an early access game for like $10 right now or some shit. Jesus Christ, this game is a furry's wet dream. What is this trash? They're not even locking the... Oh, man. It's a work in progress. Can't complain about it too much, right? I can complain about anything, though. Yeah, I read all the Redwall books when I was a kid. Pretty much, I remember at one point I like read 3 of them in 3 days or something. So I really liked them because they pretty much had a whole bunch of killing. I think my favorite one was what was the first one? Was that I think the prequel